Coming Down is proudly sponsored by Colorado Ganja Gear, high-quality, artistically inspired herb grinders. So let me tell you, these things are great. I actually own one. My favorite part is the perfect consistency you get after grinding. Some grinders just pulverize your herb into dust, but the razor-sharp teeth and smooth action on these always leave you with perfect, fluffy, evenly ground herb. The craftsmanship is top-notch, made from aircraft-grade aluminum, to guarantee you won't get metal shavings mixed into your herb. But the best part, truly, is each grinder features original artwork created by Colorado artist Lori Beatty. She creates unique mandalas that are laser-etched into each magnetic lid. And each grinder comes in a silk bag and has free shipping. So just go to etsy.com/shop/Colorado Ganja Gear and enter the code Coming Down in all caps for $5 off, or go to the show notes for this episode and follow the link. Thanks and enjoy the episode.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Coming Down. My name is Matthew. I'm joined here by my co-host, Nathan.
Hello, friends. How are you doing, my man?
I'm doing good, and may I say happy birthday to you, sir.
Why thank you. Yeah, I think last week I reported that I was going to be gone for the weekend on my birthday weekend for my grandma's 80th birthday. That did in fact happen. Yeah, actual birthday kind of was a wash. I worked and then I flew to Colorado and got into Colorado at like midnight. So that was my day. Very unexciting. But
for sure.
The night before, my dear friend Matt, who does the movie cast that we do for the Patreon, he took me out to Fogo de Chao.
Yes.
Surprise. It was a surprise thing that everyone set up for me. So shout out to you, Matt, because that fucking ruled.
Hell yeah.
Been dreaming of meats for past week now.
Right. For our listeners who don't know, Fogo de Chao is a Brazilian steak restaurant where they serve you sizzling hot meat on a sword.
Yep, and it's all you can eat. And you just you have this little placard that you turn to green, and they'll just keep bringing you meat until you tell them to stop.
It is kind of my idea of heaven.
Yeah, it was really sweet, and it is a little pricey, so like it's not something I ever really carved out the money or time for myself. For
sure.
do.
You can apparently they have a free membership where like you get like deals on lunch and stuff. So check out their website.
All right. No, it felt very much like kind of like you're paying for an experience as well.
Oh, for sure.
Like, the food was very good, don't get me wrong, but kind of like other gimmicky places like the Melting Pot, it felt a little overrated, you know?
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, it's downtown Portland, so it's they're putting on an act to, like, inflate the table price a little bit. But
absolutely.
Still good cuts of meat, you know?
Amazing, and the experience is rad, because, we sat there for, like, 2 hours just, like, drinking cocktails and eating meats, dude. And, dude. It was great.
Nice.
I think there are other places in Portland that you can, spend that kind of money and get probably a better meal, but maybe the experience is different. I don't know.
Sure.
So,
it's definitely not quite a tourist spot, but it's like almost the same caliber where the pageantry is part of what you're paying for.
Right. And again, I kind of equate it to the Melting Pot. It's like, the food's good there too. Yeah. Like, you're not going to walk away bummed. But for the money you spend, it's like, yeesh. Yeah. But, so that ruled. And then, spent the weekend in Colorado. It was really a quick trip. Also, shout out to my Colorado friends that I didn't hit up. I just literally didn't have time. I flew in at midnight on Friday, and I flew out at 8 p.m. on Sunday. And Saturday was the party for my grandma. So,
yeah.
I just didn't have time, and all my uncles were in town, which was cool because I don't get to see them very often.
Oh, nice.
And so spent like Sunday day hanging out with them too. Nothing really to report, man. My grandma's doing great.
Well, it's good to hear.
80 years old, and she is sharp as a tack and just, doing really well for herself. So it was cool to see a bunch of extended family that I hadn't seen in years and years. A lot of people that I remembered faces and not names, but they all remembered me. It was a whirlwind trip, but it was fun. It was nice to see everyone. Oh, yeah. I don't think I have like any exciting story. Oh, I have one funny story. So flying back, I had forgotten to. So when you fly Southwest, you have to check in like 24 hours early, and that gives you your seating order.
Sure.
And it's still just free for all. You pick whatever seat you want, but decides when you get on the plane.
Right.
And I forgot to check in, so I was one of the last people.
Oh, no.
There were like 5 people behind me.
Brutal.
Yeah, which is fine. You know, I'm flying alone, so I don't care. And so I went, you know, the only open row was the very last row. And so I went in there and grabbed the window seat. And then this other girl sits down in the aisle seat of my row. And then behind her was this couple. I try not to be too judgy of people, but it was this girl who very clearly was this like bleach blondie, entitled, rich girl, right? And
Alexis from Schitt's Creek.
Yeah, dude. And you know, I try not to judge people by their cover, but I was correct, because what happened next was they walk up and they look around, and there's only like 3 rows that have middle seats open. These are the only seats left. And the flight attendant's like, yeah, sorry, it looks like it's only middle seats for you guys. And and so this guy stands up in the aisle seat. He stands up to let one of them grab the middle seat of his row, and she looks at him and goes, oh, thank you. Like, she's thinking he's gonna move to another middle seat to allow them to sit together. And he looks at her and he's like, no, I was just getting up for you to like grab this middle seat if you want it. And she looks all downtrodden and then looks around and she was like, does anyone want to move so that we can sit together? And nobody even answers her, because like, fuck no, nobody wants to like take a middle seat so that you can sit with your boyfriend.
Yeah.
And so
there's a reason everyone takes the aisle and window seats.
Right. Yeah.
Because the middle seat sucks.
The middle seat's the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're jammed in, you know, you don't get your armrests and like, I don't know. Anyway, so that was hilarious, and I'm just kind of watching this all go down, and she's sort of looking around like waiting for someone to like, oh, I'll do it, but no one is doing it. And the flight attendant again is like, yeah, nobody wants to like sit in the middle, you know? and so she just like begrudgingly like starts inching into the middle seat and was just like, how weird. And it was like, yeah, how weird that no one just like jumped to your fucking service, you know?
Yeah, it's
like,
not like you're a mom with a kid, you know? Like, that's a different situation.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like this girl has clearly just been used to everyone just like bending over backwards for her to like accommodate her, and no one did in this moment, and she was like, how weird. And I just fucking laughed. Oh god, it was too fucking funny. Like, yeah, nobody wants to do this for you.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was funny. But the flight home was whack, man. It was turbulence the whole way.
Ugh.
Yeah, they kept making the flight attendants like in the middle of taking drink orders, they kept making them like go back and take seats.
Right.
So yeah, it was the most rocky flight I've ever taken.
I hate that
little
shit.
Sketchy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. There's nothing, no other excitement. My uncle's partner cooked us an amazing Italian dinner, which was cool as hell because he's Italian.
Nice.
And so that ruled. God, I don't know. Yeah, that's it. It was really, yeah. Shout out to Colorado family. You guys are cool.
No, I mean, happy birthday, dude. I'm glad that you got to see some family. You know, it's too bad you didn't get to party with your friends, but
yeah, totally. And you know, I'm going to put something together and get together with some people here eventually. But yeah, this year it was just kind of a wash for my birthday.
Yeah, you know,
overshadowed by someone who lived to be 80 years old. Apparently 38's just not that interesting. No, everyone was very cool about it.
That's funny.
Yeah, they did get me a card and
nice.
presents and stuff too, so yeah,
cool.
Yeah, nothing else to report though, man. My rest in peace my wallet. I've been buying concert tickets left and right.
Right.
And pre-order vinyl and just things that I can't go without. So fuck, man. Anyone not in Portland, you want to come out the end of July and see Primus cover a Rush album? Oh, and Wolfmother and Battles are opening?
Yeah.
This shit's gonna be insane.
It's pretty fucking nuts.
Yeah.
And it's at Edgefield too.
It's at Edgefield. It's gonna be damn cool.
Yeah, I think I have to pick one thing, so I'm committing to Ween right now. But
yeah. Also, Ween, July 4th here in Oregon. It's gonna be down in Bend, and we're looking to go hit that up. They Might Be Giants is touring Flood, so they're going to be playing that album start to finish. So those tickets are coming up on sale this week, and gonna lose some money to that.
I wish I could go. I don't. Yeah, like I said, I can't overextend. So
yeah, well, maybe it'll be on like a Monday, and then you can go.
That would be pretty rad. We'll see.
But yeah, I don't know. Other than that, man, doing good. Life's chilling. It's starting to sort of mellow out. I feel like the beginning of 2020 was like hectic and weird.
Yeah. It was rough, man. It was a rough January. Yeah. But, February is starting to level out a bit. I think, the sunshine helps, even though I hate it.
Yeah.
It's improving my mood somewhat.
Agreed. Yeah, man, it's going to be like 60 here in Portland next week, they say.
It's crazy.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm kind of ready for it this year.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not the sun worshiper I used to be, but...
Yeah, we'll be bitching about it, in no time at all.
Absolutely. So. Yeah. I already, walk to the bus and, I face south to catch the bus, and it's usually right around noon, and the sun's just right in my eyes. And I'm like, man, where's the fucking rain? This is bullshit.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, I just hate when it gets cold because there's no clouds and rain.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
It's not cool.
Fuck. It was cold in Colorado. There was snow everywhere, but it wasn't that bad. I think I got lucky. It was supposed to snow the day I was going to fly out, and I was really worried about that. But dodged it.
Nice.
Well, man, anything else to report, or should we just get to it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not much on my end, so...
Word.
Usual.
Cool. Well, you want to tell them about, the stuff we do?
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, if you want to check out the show notes for this episode, as well as links to the rest of our platforms, you can find that on comingdownpod.com. You'll also find links there to our Patreon. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who's already donated. You guys are the best. We love you.
Huge thank you.
Absolutely. Couldn't do it without you. And that's at patreon.com/comingdownpod. If you'd like to be on the show or you'd like to hit us up, we'd love to hear from you. Let us know what you think. And that's going to be at comingdownpod on Twitter. Or you can reach us on Gmail. That's comingdownpod@gmail.com. And if you'd like what you're hearing, you'd like to give us a little review, please hit us up on Stitcher. Really help us out with visibility. We appreciate anything that you have to say.
Heck yeah.
Other than that,
turn them loose.
Let's go.
I didn't take a cigarette break, so we're just rolling again.
Love it. Oh yeah, I'm not used to this new Nathan.
Dude, me neither, man. But look, let's just keep going. Let's go. Let's go.
All right, so yeah, I mean, Cobb couldn't fucking do much. Just
yeah.
And he kind of slow rolled it too, just giving us the fucking eye while he inches along the fucking shoulder while we're packing up our shit.
Yeah.
Getting rolling. So yeah, we finally coast into Paia, and I want to say that somebody came to pick us up in Paia. No, that's right. We actually hitched up into Haiku, and they came to pick us up in Haiku.
But, and you guys are all heading to Christmas dinner.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So Rita, Sean's mom, invited us to Christmas dinner with her and Sean and his dad Phil. And Rita and Phil separated, or even divorced,
And they were like, bring whatever hippies you can rustle up.
Well, no, because
you're like, Thor, get over here.
Well, no. Thor and Fella were going to do their own thing.
Okay.
We were just traveling companions.
Okay.
Until we got to Paia. I think they were pretty firmly entrenched in Paia, and they were just trying to get back there. And they were like, "Oh, you guys are headed that way? Yeah, let's roll together." And so I think Rita came to pick us up in Haiku and took us up to the house, and she had made a Christmas duck, and it was really fucking heartwarming, man, because here I am doing this shit on my own for the first time, pretty much. I mean, apart from all the shit that I did in California, but it's we've got no anchors here. It's just us in the world, and Rita was kind enough to open her home.
Yeah,
and
just
like
and the ants and that's it.
Just ants and mushroom honey and Christmas goose.
That's really cool.
Well, and the other cool thing was that they let us stay at their house that night. Like, we drank a bunch of wine, ate a bunch of goose, and then we passed out in this fucking king-size loft bed, fucking 8 feet off the fucking ground. Like,
that's awesome.
Big skylight above us. Like, it's fucking magical.
Was that like your first bed since you'd been there too?
Literally, yeah.
Yeah. So you're just like, we are fucking royalty.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And then we woke up at the crack of dawn so that Rita could drive us back to Lahaina, and we just crawled into the canopy of her truck.
Yeah.
And just kind of like, groggily endured the fucking wind as she drove us back to Lahaina.
Yeah.
It was a bumpy ride, but it was great.
Yeah.
It was Christmas miracle.
Nah, yeah, that sounds awesome, man. Sounds like a great way to spend Christmas.
Oh shit, I almost fucked this up because shit. Now I'm forgetting exactly how this is why I didn't remember. Okay. First of all, this is why I didn't remember what happened on my birthday. Secondly, this is why I couldn't remember who fucking picked us up in Haiku, because we went to Haiku on my birthday. And, no, I'm probably fucking this up as well. Anyway, fuck it. I don't remember what happened, so we will just say that at some point around Christmas, while Sean was there, might have been connected with my birthday, and Christmas might have been just before, might have been just after. I definitely know that we were hitchhiking on Christmas, so that couldn't have been on my birthday. But anyway, Sean took us to 2 houses of his best friends that he'd known all his fucking life, and want to say the first one was his homie who I'm just gonna not throw his name out there because he was just growing weed out in the fucking woods.
That's totally fair.
We'll call him Guy.
There you go.
So Guy was growing weed out in the fucking woods on Maui. He had bought an airport shuttle and just parked it and turned it into a house.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And it was really cool because it's one of those shuttle buses that has like plexiglass all around the roof and the sides, so you can just see out into the jungle all around the fucking bus, and he had the fucking overhead compartment, just like that was kind of his storage space, and dude, a good deal of it was just jars of weed.
That's fucking sweet.
And we got out there, and he's like, man, so like, how are you guys liking Maui? What's going on? I'm like, I'm a little surprised at like how high the street prices are and like how low grade the fucking weed is out here.
Yeah.
Like, everybody goes off about fucking Maui Wowie, and I'm pretty sure they're selling Mexican bud out there. And he's like, you're absolutely right. The bud that they sell to the tourists is Mexican or Canadian. It's like they try to get the Canadian shit because it's about the same price, but it looks better.
Crazy.
Like, damn it, I fucking knew it. We call that shit beasters now because it's from BC.
Right, beasters.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I haven't thought about that term in a long time.
Yeah, dude, because for a minute BC weed was the shit.
Right.
And then it went straight commercial, and we just started calling it beasters,
No, beasters was the fucking worst, man, because you'd get this weed that looked like nugs, but it wasn't, man. It was fucking...
It was immature, and they fucking keefed whatever crystals were on the outside.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, yeah, it was pretty worthless.
It was just garbage.
But it was moist and, like, fluffy, so you thought it was better than Mexi.
It was technically better than fucking brickweed.
Yeah.
Technically.
But, I mean, I swear...
But people charge kind nug prices.
Exactly.
For beasters.
Yeah, that was the thing. Like, you didn't want to fucking end up getting screwed on some fucking beasters.
Dude, holy shit. That's so funny. Yeah. That's a thing I haven't thought about in a long time.
And so he was like, yeah, so, like, those dudes down on the strip, like, what they're really looking for is Oregon bud. And I'm like, get the fuck out. And he's like, yeah, like that's the primo. That's the shit that they tell you is Maui Wowie, is some shit that they got from Oregon. And I mean, you look at the fucking weed economy here now and it makes perfect sense. Like,
yeah,
they were absolutely growing tons of weed in Southern Oregon even back then.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
what I'm confused about is, were people seriously like importing fucking weed from Mexico, Canada, and Oregon to Hawaii?
Here's the thing, man.
Like, why was it not all just local grown?
How much fucking weed can you grow in Maui, dude?
Yeah, okay.
It's an island.
I get it.
It's a small island.
Also, how do you fucking smuggle weed out to Hawaii, though?
Well, and I mean, that's an issue, right?
Like,
but
that's crazy.
You've got to understand, it's the Postal Service is the same now as it was back then.
You're totally right.
And it currently is the number one way of transporting marijuana.
Yeah.
On a small scale.
Yep. I might have known a man who would vacuum seal mushrooms, bury them in coffee cans, and ship those all over the country.
That's just an extra step. Like,
yeah.
Here's the thing. And I mean, like, you know, you want to talk about international shipping, whole different fucking argument. But, like, this is within the states.
Yeah.
You can just send whatever the fuck you want, and they're just going to move it along. You know?
So true.
And I mean, the same thing goes for FedEx and UPS, but like with FedEx and UPS, if a box falls on the floor and it splits open and a white powder leaks out, they have to call the feds.
Yeah.
If it's the Postal Service, they're already the feds.
Yeah.
So, do you really want to file a report about this, or just put some tape on it and fucking move it along? You know?
No shit, right?
Like, if it's not a matter of national security, how much are you really going to give a shit?
Yeah, that's so true.
And that's why the Postal Service has always been better than all these other external services.
Because they're better at moving the drugs.
Well, and they're just, it's a fucking matter of volume. Like, are you really going to stop the presses for each little fucking thing that's a little outside the law? Or are you just going to, like, turn a blind eye and fucking not have to deal with the paperwork?
That's way true. Yeah. Okay, cool. So we know how weed gets to Hawaii, and we know how they get Mexi Beasters and Oregon weed.
Yep, and there's no such thing as Maui Wowie. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
To all the tourists, there has not been a thing. There may have never been a thing that was Maui Wowie.
Yeah.
But, like, there certainly has not been since probably the 80s at the outside. Like,
yeah.
And almost certainly since the 70s. Like, that just isn't a thing. Like, there's probably some old hippies who have a strain that they call Maui Wowie that they got from some other old hippies.
Yeah.
But who the fuck knows, man? Furthermore, the first Maui Wowie was just some seeds from some other fucking strain that somebody planted out there.
Yeah, of course. Like, right? Yeah, it's just whatever. Yeah.
It's just some weed, you know? And if it's good or not is really the only thing that matters.
Yeah.
And the Hawaiians knew what kind of weed was good, and there's not a lot of land mass that you can devote to growing weed out there. Like, how the fuck are you going to hide it? It's an island, for fuck's sake.
That's really true.
Know? Unless you have some really, like, legit mountain fucking spots, you know? And I mean, like I said, I knew a guy who grew weed out there. So it's
certainly, like some people do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is by no means enough to support the tourist trade.
Well, and this is the thing, too, is like, as you already explained, I just didn't know that it was so sort of like, not taboo or whatever, but it's just like that it just wasn't such commonplace. Well, I just assumed like most places it was just like, yeah, dude, weed's pretty fucking like good to go.
You want to think that, but and I get it, but like, what it comes down to is the Hawaiians. You know, they're the ones who are living there, and like, for the most part, they didn't smoke weed. Their name for weed at the back in the day, and like, you know, this is kind of a controversial term at this point, but it used to be pakalolo, which what I've been told is that that term means stupid smoke.
Oh shit!
So it had a bad connotation.
Huh? So weed just has a bad rap with the locals.
Yeah.
All right.
And I mean, that doesn't mean that there aren't tons of locals who smoke, but like as a community, at least back in the day, it was frowned upon. So it's not like, the locals were like, man, fuck these whiteys, like, let's just fucking smoke weed. No, man.
Right.
That's not how it was. It was like mad old farmers being like, get the fuck out of here, you fucking hippies.
Yeah.
Ruining my fucking drunk.
Wild.
Yeah. So, Jesus. We fucking
derailed a little bit.
Oh, well.
No, that's fine.
We did. Oh, yeah, right.
So post Christmas.
Well, yeah. So I was talking about.
Oh, yeah.
We went out to two places where Sean's friends live, and one of them was was Guy's place, and he was like, well, I was like, hey man, like, we really need to get some weed, but we're super broke. We've been trying to sell these crafts to the tourists, and it's like kind of just enough for us to get by, and like, I hate to just ask you for a 20 sack, but that's about where I'm at right now. And I see that you are definitely on a level where selling 20 sacks is not your game.
Right.
So if you want to tell me to fuck right on off, that's cool. He was like, you know what, man? Like, I appreciate where you're coming from. Like, you obviously see where I'm at.
Right. You respect the thing.
But you're here with one of my good buddies. And, like, I'm sure you knew coming into this what my game was. So, like, I also don't want to disappoint you. You're good friends with one of my best friends. So let's work something out. And I was like, oh, my God, thank you. And he's like, so here's the deal. I had a crop that was way out this fucking road that got washed out. And he's like, I've got a CJ7 Jeep. Maybe CJ6. I don't remember. But a big-ass fucking Jeep.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, I still, like, even with all my fucking crazy-ass, like, rock hopper mods, couldn't get past this washout for a long time. And there were some males in that crop. And they pollinated all of the females. So by the time I got out there, I had big fucking juicy buds that
full of seeds,
completely full of seeds.
Fuck.
And he's like, and God help me, like, I couldn't throw that shit away.
Right.
I harvested all of it. I trimmed all of it. It looks beautiful. But I can't sell a fucking scrap of it.
Full of seeds. Yeah.
So I'm going to fill up a bag, and that's going to be what you get for $20. Is that cool?
Sick.
And I'm like, dude, thank you. So, like, we got a fucking 4-finger bag.
Yeah, dude.
Full of fucking headies.
Yeah.
That were also full of seeds.
Full of seeds, but whatever.
For $20, I got a 4-finger bag.
That's dope.
Yeah, it was fucking amazing. And I don't remember if it was that night or another night, but we went to Sean's buddy Tam's house, and his dad's got a fucking sick chunk of property, and they've built this really weird, like, fucking hippie family Robinson fucking jungle hot tub that's like literally a fireplace with water on top of it. It's got a thick rubber pad on top of the fucking metal plate that's above the fire. So you're not, like, cooking yourself.
Hell yeah.
But, I mean, if it was a Bugs Bunny cartoon, someone would be slicing onions and carrots into that water.
Yeah, dude.
Because you're just in the fucking soup
You're just fucking stewing.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was fucking wonderful.
Oh, God. Yeah. That's amazing.
So nice. Yeah. So, like, we definitely got some, like, cool, like, island style fucking experiences. Got to visit some of the folks who've been there for a while. Not locals, but
yeah,
local enough.
Yeah.
And that was great. It was really cool getting to see that. And then we kind of come back to the fucking hippie village, and like my first job was basically just getting all of the seeds out of our weed.
Yeah, right.
And ended up with a bag with like 1 finger worth of seeds in it.
Yeah.
And, like told this story to a bunch of people about how like we met this local grower and like, you know, like cut us this deal. And it was like right around Christmas. Maybe it was even, I think it was actually Christmas Day when I was telling this story, and I was like, look at this bag of seeds, you know, and like this guy was like, hey man, would you want to trade some weed for those seeds? And I was like,
my God, yes.
So fucking lootly.
Yeah, dude.
And he's like, because I bet you those are good seeds. And I'm like, I mean,
yeah, sounds like they are. Yeah.
And he's like, cool. And so like he fucking pulls out like these headies and stuff, and he's like, here you go. And I'm like, oh shit, man. I mean, this is a lot of seeds, right? He's like, dude, I'm trying to do something nice for you on Christmas. Like, fuck, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. And I'm fucking it up. Thank you. I love you.
You're like, and I'm not the hustler.
Yeah, exactly.
My better half is the hustler, as I've learned with the hemp necklaces.
Holy shit. She could sell snow to an Eskimo.
Yeah,
my
right.
God.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
You know, can't handle her shit in a lot of situations, but like fucking shines sometimes,
yeah.
You know? Yeah, so you know, this whole fucking cool Christmas shit happens. We get back to Lahaina, and we'd met this dude named Solace. It's spelled Solus.
Okay.
I thought it was like solace, like lonely sadness, you know.
Right.
It's not. It's something about the sun.
It's like a... oh, yeah, for sure, yeah.
Anyway, dude was cool, and at some point we were like, man, what the fuck should we do tonight? And Jessica used to be a fucking dungeon master for like a pretty big D&D group. And yeah, well, like her boyfriend actually was the DM for Cake, the band. So like,
what?
Yeah, there's a whole story about how she actually wrote some Cake songs and stuff. But
what?
Like, oh yeah, like
okay.
Mr. Mastodon Farm and When You Sleep, Where Do Your Fingers Go? Like, she was a part of that writing process, apparently.
Wild. Okay.
Yeah, so that's my 1 degree of separation from the band Cake.
Right on.
Anyway, yeah, so I don't remember like how that got brought up in the group, but yeah, Solace, and God, I wish I could remember this guy's name. I want to say he was going by Wolf at the time. Anyway.
Sounds good.
Like, everybody was like, let's fucking play D&D. And me and Jess are like, man, fuck it. You guys got weed, right? Like, wait, no, we got weed. Let's make this happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're just hanging out in our tent, and Solace is DMing. It's me, Wolf, and Jessica, and like, he was doing this verbal Kint shit where like he would just look around and like find something and like, oh, that's the name of this thing that we're doing. Like, oh, you guys are fighting against here's a pack of papers, the Rizla army.
Love it.
You know, and like, if we needed to do a die roll, we didn't have any dice.
Right.
So Solace would be like, okay, like, randomly manipulate this object and I will decide the outcome.
That sounds cool.
You succeed. You fail, etc.
Yeah.
You know, it was great. We were all super loaded and having a great time.
That sounds awesome.
Like, as far as like pure theater of the mind D&D, I've never done it aside from that. And admittedly, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Like, I'm the kind of asshole who thinks that 4th edition D&D is the best version because it's essentially a tabletop video game.
Yeah.
And there's rules for literally everything. And you never have to, like, imagine anything. You have to imagine a lot of stuff, but you never have to, like, make anything up on the fly. It's just like, no, there's rules for that. We can roll dice.
Yeah.
I love that. That is what I want. So for me to be playing pure theater of the mind D&D, it was like this. And I'm the guy who has all the books. Like,
but if your DM's like taking you through the journey, it's like, sure, dude, I'm subscribing to all of this.
It was pure joy, man. I'm just like, yeah, like, fuck it. I'm gonna do this crazy balls out thing. And DM's like, well, I mean, like, let's randomize that
Cool.
shit. And I'm like, I will crumple up this cigarette paper and flip it over. And
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, all right.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, we did it.
Allow me to present my ant army. I've trained them on honey.
Oh my god. Yeah. And they were hanging out in that tent with honey ants on their balls. God. And that was, God, I don't want to gross anybody out, but like, we definitely like laundered that sleeping bag at Aunt Sally's and like did a more thorough job. But there wasn't a single night that we weren't sleeping with ants.
Yeah.
And sand. Literally ever. Like,
Yeah.
you'd just wake up and there would be ants on you. And sand.
Yeah.
Like, you just live with it.
They're just like, this is our life now.
Yeah. It was, you just... It's like watching the people in Africa with flies landing on their face and they don't do anything about it. Like,
Right.
that's just life.
We bring honey into the tent once and it's just...
you live with the ants after.
Sand and ants. All right.
Aunt Sandy. Yeah, so we, during this time that we were living in Lahaina, we met some other characters who we're going to feature later. We met Aima, I think that was her name. She's a local Hawaiian fucking goddess. Like, oh god, I love that woman. Like, she was just so generous and kind, and like knew all the fucking local like weed dealer boys who were hanging out with us, and she was constantly fucking giving them shit and
Nice.
like, taking them down a peg when they're trying to act all fucking gangster and shit. It's like, oh, you're a breath of fresh air. We also met Otter and Jesse, who were weed growers from Eugene. We were
Whoa,
like
nice.
basically on an extended vacation, and these guys really had the gift of Blarney. So like when they said that they came up with the blueberry strain in Eugene, I take that with a pretty big grain of salt and pretty much call them bullshit. But
Yeah, probably.
according to them, I met the progenitors of the blueberry strain.
I mean, that would rule, because
Yep.
I bought a lot of blueberries that came through Fort Collins
Who didn't?
in 2000. Oh God, what?
That was like
2000? God, I don't know, 2001.
it was like the strain in the late '90s, early 2000s.
Oh God, it fucking ruled too. And like
There was like blueberry train wreck, like so many crosses after a while,
we always just only ever got blueberry, and it always looked the same, and it was always like the fluffiest nugs you'd ever seen.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, like
Dude,
talking about
fluffy.
fingers across, like in just a regular sandwich
Right.
baggie, like an eighth would be like three fingers across, but it's because it was just so fluffy.
But it wasn't larfy either. It was just like just fluff.
Yeah.
Like it was nice.
Yeah, and trimmed well and whatnot. So whoever was growing our blueberries fucking killed it, and they were delicious.
Well, we'll
So,
go ahead and say it was Jesse, and he did a good job.
love it, believe it.
And so, we also met this guy named Wolf, this dude named Thor, and this really gorgeous woman whose name I don't remember, who's definitely into me, and I was definitely into her, but I didn't know how I felt about polygamy and polyamory, and like she was also kind of with a dude who was kind of weirded out by the fact that we were both kind of into each other, like not really. Anyway, got nothing but kind words to say about those folks, and
God,
right around then. Well, I'm sorry. What were you gonna say?
Dude. I'm just like Thor and Wolf and all these people. I'm like, I didn't see this season of Future Man.
Yep.
All right, move along.
Nailed it. So yeah, like Thor and Wolf and I think Fella and Girl had all moved to Paia at this point. Also, this dude, oh god, I want to say his name was Brandon, but I don't fucking remember. He was cool as fuck. But yeah, like everybody had kind of moved to Paia that we knew. Like there were still some traveler kids in Lahaina, but like everybody kind of agreed that Lahaina was cool because it was dry all the time, but it was lame as fuck because it was pretty much just tourists.
Yeah.
Unless you were hanging out in the park.
Oh yeah, this was what I was gonna ask. Is like, yeah, because you guys like put stakes down at this place, but like couldn't have been the only place to kick it, right?
Right, and that's something I forgot to mention is that every day we got up, we, maybe we stripped down naked and jumped into the ocean, but most of the time we would just get up, like smoke a little tiny scrap of weed, because we were very careful about rationing because we didn't have a whole lot of money. And
right? Yeah, you're living on fucking hemp necklace sales,
right? And like at this point, we hadn't bumped into Guy and like all this other shit. So, we fucking would be really, really conservative about how much weed we smoked in the morning, and like we would do this whole thing where I would blow my head.
Yeah, right, and shotgun hits.
We'd swap it back and forth until we felt like it wasn't worth it anymore. And then we would hitch into town, and it was like, a 5 or 10 minute ride into town, depending on traffic. Like, it was a good distance. It wasn't something that you could walk. So yeah, when we put roots down, it was out of town, and we wanted to be somewhere that was a little more central, had more folks that we knew. Like we'd conquered this whole rainfly thing, and knew that we could stay on a wetter part of the island. And Paia, like, it's not the dry side, but it's still not the wet side either. The nice thing about the weather back then is in the middle part of the island, it would just kind of like sprinkle about midday.
Awesome.
And that was it.
Awesome.
Especially if you got further up the mountainside, it was almost like clockwork. And this is why the mushrooms grew so well.
Yeah.
Is you'd get that morning sun, and then just before noon, you'd get like this little like sprinkly cloud burst.
Yeah.
And then those clouds would blow off, and then the mushrooms would just bloom. Like that fucking moisture and all that sunshine. Like,
awesome.
Oh. Anyway, so yeah, we were like, let's move closer to the mushrooms. Let's move closer to the fucking hippies that we love.
Yes.
Like, Paia sounds dope. And, so Baldwin Beach over there was kind of the perfect campground. Like, it was already kind of like set aside as a camping place for the locals. And that's why there's this law that says you can camp anywhere within 100 yards of the high tide line, is because the Hawaiians have always had like this tradition of like doing shit on the beach, like whether it's just partying as like a family unit or like actually doing like some kind of spiritual shit. Like, they've got to be close to the beach, and like that's always been a part of their culture. And so thankfully that was preserved in the law, and we kind of got to enjoy the fruits of that law, which is fucking all this rad forest just off of Baldwin Beach, which was perfect for camping.
Nice.
There's a big berm that blocked any kind of high tide, and don't think there were pines, but it was some kind of needle tree.
Nice.
So like it was just this really soft duff that you could like put your tent on. It wasn't
Beautiful.
even sand, it was like more comfortable than sand.
Yeah, beautiful.
It was nice.
That's amazing.
So yeah, I mean, and like fuck, dude, we didn't have pads. We just fucking threw a sleeping bag on the bottom of the tent and called it a day. Like we were fucking kids.
Yeah. You can get away with that shit.
So yeah, we moved to Paia, moved to Baldwin Beach, and got to know some of the folks there. Like, there was a pretty big traveler village at Baldwin Beach, like at least a dozen tents at any given moment in time.
Cool.
And we would anytime we could, we would try to partner up with anybody who was down to like do some kind of communal meal. Like, didn't always happen. A lot of the time we were just kind of using our food stamps at the co-op to like get a few things to like make like some like fucking tofu spread wraps or something like that. Just a bunch of vegetables with some fucking tofu spread or something. But anytime we could like hook up with somebody who had a big stew pot and be like, hey, we've got this food stamps card, we can go to the co-op and get a bunch of rice and beans.
We'll just go get some stuff if you cook it up.
It was like, if we get like the fucking bulk shit, like these guys just caught a fish and like this and the other, like we would get these rad fucking communal like stews and like roasts and shit going.
That's cool as hell.
Oh, it was brilliant. And there's a couple of times where there would be like randos who were like, I swear to God, they were just trying to scare the hippies. There's this dude named Nick who's like, oh, fucking devil worship and stuff. Oh yeah, whatever. You're a fucking weirdo. And then like,
what? Like he was into devil worship?
I don't fucking know. I think he was just into whatever would shock people the most. But
okay.
There was this other kid who was like, oh man, you guys ever heard of G.G. Allen? And we're like,
oh god.
No. And he's like, oh man, let me tell you about him. Like, him and his brother were trying to fuck this dog, and like, you know, he fucking died of a heroin overdose, and like nobody knew he was dead, and like he'd like cover himself in shit, cut himself with beer cans. I'm like, man, you got a real knack for fucking dinner conversation, buddy. Like,
yeah,
way to roll into a big bunch of fucking hippies and like
talking about G.G. Allen. Yeah.
You're a fucking piece of shit, dude.
I feel like I heard about G.G. Allen though because like some dude thought it would be funny to like tell a bunch of hippies about the dude who fucking like smeared poop on himself and whatnot. Like,
I mean, like, what else do you get out of telling G.G. Allen stories?
Yeah,
for
right.
Shock value, you
right?
Know? So, like, that is absolutely what this guy was doing. Just like,
yeah.
You guys ever heard of G.G. Allen? Oh, he's so punk rock. Like, fuck you, dude.
Yeah.
Fucking Green Day's more punk rock than G.G. Allen. Fuck that guy.
Whoa, listener at home. Put down the pens. Let's, you can direct hate mail to fucking Matthew.
I will admit that I only said that to piss off G.G. Allen fans.
No, I know. Look, but also, like, fuck G.G. Allen.
I mean,
like,
fuck
shit's
G.G.
stupid.
Allen, yeah. Like, just a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not like everything was always fucking hunky-dory in hippie town. Like,
right.
There was definitely some weirdos trying to fuck up our magic.
Yeah, of course.
They didn't fucking hold a candle to the fucking glory that was Maui.
The good shit, yeah.
And that's what was so crazy is like, I mentioned this dude named Thor, and like, one day we woke up on Baldwin Beach, and I think we like got up and did a naked swim. And like came back, showered in the beach shower, went back to our tent, got dressed, smoked a little scrap of weed, and we were like, okay, like let's take the little trail along the beach and just see how many of our friends are up, and then we'll head to the park.
Yeah,
that was like kind of the circuit. Like there was this little trail that would lead you past everyone's camp, and then like you could just cut up into the park.
Yeah.
And that's where everybody hung out.
That's cool.
And I mean, really, a lot of those times that we were just hanging out in the park, it was pretty much just waiting for enough people to get bored and want to hitchhike up to go mushroom picking. So
yeah, right.
It's hard to have a bad day.
Yeah, it's like, damn, life sounds rough.
Yeah. And so, speaking of which, one day we're walking through just this fucking empty grass area that's between Baldwin Beach and, like, the beach shop. And, mind you, remind me after this, because I want to do some follow-up on Baldwin Beach and what it's like now. Because some fucking shit has happened, dude. Anyway, so we're walking by Thor's camp. He's staying with Wolf. God, I don't think Wolf was his name, but he probably doesn't want his real name aired here.
Yeah,
anyway.
Fuck it.
So we're walking by their camp, and like we're not making a whole lot of noise or anything, but Thor comes rolling out of his tent with a big fucking stretch. And he's like, "Oh, hey, what's up, guys?" I'm like, "Oh, hey, man. We're just heading into town, like, figured we'd stop by and see how you guys are doing." He's like, "Well, I got up this morning and I came outside of my tent and there was half a pouch of American Spirit sitting on the ground there. And I wanted a cigarette, so I was pretty stoked on that. So I rolled up a cigarette, started taking a walk down the beach. But I couldn't help think about how, like, my brand is actually American Spirit Organic, and this was fine. I mean, like, it's free tobacco that someone left near the front of my tent when I wanted a cigarette. So, like, who's gonna bitch about that, right? And so I'm walking along the beach, and I get down to this tree here where I like to sit and smoke my cigarette because it's kind of perfect little bench just right here on the beach. You know, like someone planted it there for that reason. And I get down there, and there's a pouch, an unopened pouch. That was the other thing, is the pouch of American Spirit that he found had been opened. It was just a regular pouch of American Spirit. It's down there. There's an unopened pouch of organic American Spirit sitting on the trunk of the tree that he likes to smoke cigarettes on. And so he says, so I guess it's just a normal morning on Maui. And we're like, fucking A, man.
Fucking A. Damn.
Because that was the kind of running in joke among all the travelers there, is like, if you need something, Maui's going to give it to you.
It's just always there for you.
Yeah. And you know, that was part of the reason why Jessica was so pissed off about the whole like calling rides shit, is like there's this fucking built-in mythos, you know, like everyone buys into it because it fucking works.
Yeah.
And I mean,
it turns out it really fucking does.
It really fucking works.
Yeah.
Obviously. And it's you know, it's absolutely woo-woo, but like it's real to the point where cynics like this dude, I haven't even explained this dude, like this guy is a fucking hardcore fanatic. Like he's wearing black jeankos with fucking straps and buckles all over the fucking place. He's got more metal in his fucking face than I had in my entire fucking backpack. You know? Like the dude is like, he looked like a Skeksis. I mean, like, that was my weird fucking psychedelic revelation at the time, is that this dude was essentially the Chamberlain from the Dark Crystal in human form. But he was a rad dude and so fucking nice and like so like down to earth that like even he was spouting hippie bullshit, you know? Like, it's a fucking normal morning on Maui, because I found 2 pouches of my favorite tobacco, and the second one was exactly my brand, and it was unopened.
Right.
Like, God fucking damn it. And there's this other dude...
That is bizarre. Yeah.
Right? There's this other dude who named himself Banyan, which, you know, if you're going to pick an island name, kind of obvious, but that's fine. You know, like, fit this dude. The obvious name. Anyway.
It's all right.
So... him and I think it was Wolf were talking about, maybe it was somebody else, but anyway, they were talking about how they fucking passed out on the beach one night and they woke up super hungover. Somebody had left a bottle of water, a packed bowl, and a lighter, and a pack of Marlboros sitting on the tree trunk. Like they were passed out underneath this tree, and like the tree trunk right above them had this shit all laid out.
Damn.
So they got up, they split the bottle of water, they smoked the bowl, and they fucking had some cigarettes.
Damn.
Like, are fairies leaving shit in the night for what you need the next morning? Like, that is just... And I mean...
Yeah, that is wild.
I'm not saying that story wasn't embellished because it sounds a little too perfect, but like, dude... You hear enough of these stories every fucking day, and like, who cares how much they're embellished? Like, people are just experiencing unexplainable generosity, and what are you supposed to do about that?
Yeah, and I mean, if people are experiencing that, like, who's to say people aren't just sort of paying it forward and fucking looking out?
Well,
and,
right,
like,
and
doing that stuff all the time.
Right,
anyway,
and like, I'm not saying that it was fucking supernatural by any means.
I'm not saying. I'm not saying that you were saying
exactly.
That,
I'm saying that like people there just are like that cool, man. Like that they just like when we were fucking making devil sticks and hemp jewelry under the banyan tree. There's these guys who would yell the Bible at people all day, and I mean that's nothing new. Like, there's people like that in every city. But these guys were kind of a clique of, like, dudes who would... They'd almost, like, take turns, like, standing on the street corner and yelling shit. And, like, one of them was this dude in a coolie hat with big fucking blue blocker shades and this super long white ZZ Top beard. He was definitely the weirdest one among them. But, you know, some of them were local dudes. Some of them were white dudes. It was, like, this whole crew... And one day he rolls over with this huge Costco platter of and it was obvious that like some other type of Costco thing had been on this platter before, but it was like local avocado, and mind you, the avocados over there get like the size of, what is that? That's like a cantaloupe.
It's like a
and
bigger than a grapefruit.
Yeah, I mean, like it was huge avocado that they'd sliced up, and he was just like, "Yo, we can't eat any more avocado. Do you guys want this?"
Shit.
I mean, the crazies, the Bible crazies,
Right,
are giving us food. Like,
right.
It's a different world over there, man.
That's so cool.
And that's more what I'm trying to say than any kind of like
Yeah.
woo-woo shit. It's
No,
just
no,
that
no. Totally.
everybody over there is friendly. Everybody over there is generous. Nobody wants anything to go to waste, and everybody's trying to make sure that everybody's taken care of.
Yeah, so the culture is definitely just cool as hell.
Absolutely. And also just fucking, man, if you're high as fuck all the time, shit's gonna seem like magic sometimes. So
For real.
You know.
Yeah.
what you gonna do?
Yeah. So, okay, so I feel like now I need to know, why the fuck did you ever leave?
Well, the reason we left is because we wanted to do more raves in San Francisco, and we also couldn't find jobs over there. In fact, this is about a perfect time to talk about this because, yeah, we'll get to what I just thought of, but yeah.
Okay.
So
no, if we've got some other stuff to hit first, but yeah.
There's a lot of shit that we have left to hit. But yeah, the reason we never left was because we couldn't find jobs. And like while we were in Paia, we actually started talking about this. Like Solace was like, "Hey man, you know, if you get a job at the fucking adventure booths, they give you a free ride on all of their shit so that you can explain it to people. And the only thing is, if you quit, you can't do that with any of the other booths.
Huh.
So if you guys want to do some free tourist shit, you can always just go try to get a job with one of those folks." And we were like,
they'll just give you a ride.
we're like, "Well, but what if you want a job there?" And he's like, "Well, you mean you keep the job too?" He's like, "Fuck, I've been trying to get a job dishwashing here. It's tough. Like, everybody wants a fucking job."
Mm-hmm.
We're like, "Oh yeah, all of these other folks who are not just hippies eating mushrooms," because there was a lot of folks who were just like living on the beach in tents and like going to work and stuff.
Like, yeah,
like they already had jobs and they're still living on the beach because it's fucking expensive to live there.
Yeah,
like, you know,
right? Because there's not like a ton of fucking property,
right? And so it's all like really high rent. And, you know, I mean, like, Big Island's a different story, but Maui has always been pretty fucking...
Yeah, what? You're going to dishwash and then, like, actually try and get a place? Like,
forget about it.
It's going to be shitty.
Yeah. So, anyway, you know, around this time, we were talking about finding jobs, but it just didn't seem like it was working out. So, we're sitting in the park one day, and Solace is like, "Man... You guys ever notice how if you just switch the D for a B in Bank of Hawaii, it'd just say Dank of Hawaii?" We're like, "Motherfucker, you're a genius. Let's go find a cardboard box." And we found the right color of blue pen.
Oh, shit.
And we made a D. And we taped it over the B on Bank of Hawaii. It was there for 3 whole fucking days. And we saw tourists taking pictures of it. So...
Amazing.
You know, we left our mark. Also, I just want to say that... you know, I mean, the organic co-op there was amazing. It was the first time I ever tasted watermelon juice, which I was like, how has no one ever fucking juiced a watermelon? Like, come on.
Dude, right? It's made for it.
Yeah, exactly. Duh. Like, fuck eating a watermelon. Just juice it, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Just fucking juice it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was life-changing. And then, last thing that I want to say about Paia before we move on is, well, actually, there's a couple more things, a couple more stories, but, the gas station in Paia was my first exposure to Hawaiian gas station food culture.
Ooh.
And we have a little bit of that here in the States, like especially, you know, in like Eastern Oregon, there's some gas stations that have a pretty fucking lit, like, hot food section.
Yeah, man. Like, you'll find that stuff kind of anywhere.
Yeah. But especially in, like, the smaller towns and stuff.
But yeah, usually it's, like, smaller towns.
Yeah.
Yeah, some locally owned place, and they're like, you know what? We're going to put up these fucking burritos or these little, like, mini pizzas or, like, something that fucking
corn dogs
kind of rocks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like
burgers,
whatever.
something, yeah.
And so, this place had... And at this point in Hawaiian history, like, they didn't have gas station sushi, which is the fucking bomb. And I know I sound like a crazy person saying that, but holy shit, dude, get you some Hawaiian gas station sushi.
I mean, like, look, if the beach is, less than fucking 30 miles in any direction, like, I'm good. I'm saying, I'll eat fish almost anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. And in fact, that was this fucking local boy's joke in Library Park. I'd completely forgotten about this. This isn't even my fucking outline. This dude, his whole game was to go spearfishing off of Library Park specifically for octopus. Which in Japanese is taco. Octopus sushi is taco in Japanese.
T-A-K-O?
Yep. And so he'd come out of the water, he'd have a fucking octopus in his little dive bag, and he'd just find the first tourist he could see in the park and be like, "Hey, Gus, you want some taco?" And they'd be like, "Oh, you have tacos? Yeah, you want some?"
Yeah.
"Oh my God, yes." And he'd just reach into his dive bag, slash off a tentacle with his dive knife, bite fucking half of it off, and offer them the other half. And just watch as they ran away,
Yeah.
And he pulled that shit on me, and it was like, "Cuz, you want some taco?" And I already knew, like, his game. And so
you're like, I've seen this.
Yeah,
I've seen this
like,
thing.
"Yeah, man." And he looks at me, and he's like, "All right." He fucking slices the suction cups off for me, and then fucking hands it to me. I'm like, "Yeah," and fucking munch it down.
Yeah.
It's like, all right. But yeah, dude, like, his whole thing was fucking anyway.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but my point is, the gas station there, we were fucking vegetarian at the time, and so we weren't about to eat the fried chicken, but they had Maui potatoes that they'd made as jojos, and they were 8-inch long, 1-inch wide jojos.
Perfect.
Holy mother of God. And, like, they didn't do anything apart from just roll them in flour, salt, and pepper.
Perfect.
And deep fry them in a fucking pressure cooker.
It's amazing. We
lived on those fucking things in Paia.
Yeah.
It was amazing. So, yeah, if you're in Hawaii, do not sleep on the gas station food, because it is some of the best fucking street food that you can get in Hawaii.
Hell yeah.
I don't know how much to say about the fucking weirdos in Paia, but there was a lot of them. There was a guy named Shaggy who always referred to himself in the third person. Like, "Shaggy's gonna go get some mushrooms today. He wants to go picking mushrooms. Shaggy's gonna get fucked up."
Boy, I have so little tolerance for that.
Yeah, and, like, the one good thing, like, we'll mention him again later when we go to the Rave in a Cave, but, like, yeah, Shaggy was a weirdo who was just kind of a constant force in Paia.
Yeah.
And he was, like, one of the reasons that they wanted to kick all the hippies out of the park.
Yeah.
And then the other weird shit that I saw when I was in the park in Paia, there was a bar, like, right next to it, and it was kind of a shady bar, and, like, I don't know if you remember the scare about ice back in the 90s, but it was like this Hawaiian speed.
Yeah, okay.
Just crystal meth.
Right, yeah. Ice was just meth. Yeah.
But they also called it Batu out there, and like, there was some fucking white guy who, like, hustled some Samoan dude in this bar, and, like, he came running out the back like a fucking crackhead, like, kind of all fours sprinting, and, like, spider climbed over this fence real quick, and this Samoan dude doesn't even break stride, just fucking karate chops the fence, and the whole fucking thing falls down. And he just goes charging over it and starts clobbering this dude, and we're just like, is any of this shit real? Like, oh my God,
damn,
this is the Kool-Aid man fucking butchering someone in a parking lot. Like, fuck me.
Oh God.
So that was kind of like the darker side of Maui, but, like,
But you're just, but you just happen to be like privy to some of these things,
right?
So
and like the only other kind of shitty thing that happened was, Wolf and Thor were like pretty much just sleeping under the stars in what was ostensibly an empty lot, and like one night Wolf decides to sleep under this fucking cedar tree, or some facsimile thereof. I don't know if it was actually a cedar tree. It looked a lot like a cedar tree, and he said he woke up with a fucking like huge centipede.
Oh, okay.
On his fucking chest, and it's like on his kind of like on his face, and he's just like, whoa, and like it bit his fucking upper lip right then.
No.
And he like slaps it off of him, but like for 2 whole fucking weeks he had this huge fat upper lip. And it looked so painful. He like always had like fucking petroleum jelly on it.
Oh no.
It just looked so bad. And he was really bummed out. Like he lost his glasses that same day and like couldn't really see without them.
Oh fuck.
But these really fucking cool women were like, hey man, like you're obviously having a bad time. Do you want to just like come hang out with us? And he was like, abso-fucking-lutely. And they went to this place called La Perouse, which we will get to later, and he swam out into the bay with them. Couldn't really fucking see anything, but it was like a bunch of splashing around and naked women, and what are you going to do? It sounds great. And he said that after a while he realized that it wasn't just naked women splashing around him. There were also dolphins.
Nice.
And one of them just swam up underneath him and like got right up under him. And he was like, I just knew that it wanted me to grab its fin. So I did. And then I went on a dolphin ride.
Fuck yeah.
I don't even care if that story is true.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Sounds rad.
It's just fucking wonderful.
Yeah.
So that was how he turned his worst day on Maui around. And,
that's fucking cool.
Yeah. So I mean, that's basically the worst shit that happened on Maui.
Right.
The G.G. Allen stuff.
No snakes with centipedes, apparently.
Exactly.
God damn. All right.
Oh, yeah. Giant fucking centipedes and crazy spiders, too. But,
yeah.
cane spiders. Don't look those up.
Yeah, I won't. I won't.
So, yeah, we're getting towards the end here. But, like, one of the things that we discovered while mushroom picking... Well, okay, so we picked a bunch of mushrooms. We went down to Little Beach for the fucking Sunday night drum circle with all the nudists. And we decided to also do some Molly and some acid that day.
Sick.
And we show up with like 2 or 3 grocery bags full of mushrooms, already kind of tripping. And there's this Krishna dude down there. And he has an avocado tree on his property. So his favorite thing to do is to make guacamole with these avocados using nothing but avocado, garlic, and salt.
I mean, sounds good to me.
Pure. And
yeah.
He was like, yeah, so I bring these down here with like some bags of Santitos chips, and I bring them so that all the people who are eating all the mushrooms that I bring will have something to eat. And we're like, you brought mushrooms? And he's like, yes. And we're like, cool, so did we. And he's like, really? And we like show him the 3 paper grocery sacks. And he's like, holy shit. And we're like, yeah, I know, it was a good day. And he's like, well, how do you guys usually eat them? And we're like, by the fistful. And he's like, no, but I mean, like, do you guys do anything to them? We're like, you can do things to them? He's like, you've never dipped them in soy sauce? And we were like, what?
He's like, no, it doesn't matter.
He's like, yeah, they taste great when you dip them in soy sauce. And we're like, do you have soy sauce with you? He's like, duh. We're like, do you want some mushrooms? He's like, absolutely.
Well, that's awesome.
We sat there and ate a bunch of shrooms with the Krishna dude, and I gotta tell you, fresh mushrooms, and these are, I think they're Liberty Caps over there. I'm not really sure. Like, They're definitely not the cubensis that we have here.
Sure, but they're still like fucking
psilocybin.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
No question. They're just like, you have to eat a lot more of them. But god damn it, do they taste so good when you dip them in soy sauce.
Well, yeah, and typically you do have to eat more like fresh. I've always found, at least the handful of times I've done fresh mushrooms, I've eaten a lot.
I've eaten one fresh cubensis mushroom, which had a stem that was about half an inch thick and a cap that was about 2 or 3 inches wide. Which dried, my guess would be it'd be about 3 or 4 grams. Yeah. So I ate one mushroom, but it was also a lot of mushrooms.
Yeah. Yeah, and wet, that's like an ounce.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever.
I mean, like, you can't...
I mean, wet doesn't matter,
yeah,
but
you can't measure the weight on wet. But yeah, like, I was like, holy shit. The thing is, though, there's something about those fucking enzymes or whatever being hydrated, because I had visual hallucinations that lasted much longer than they would have with dried mushrooms. To the point where I didn't feel high anymore, but I'd close my eyes and see fucking weird, like, Ren and Stimpy fucking fractal shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, who knows? Maybe it was just that particular batch, but...
Yeah, I don't know.
So yeah, we fucking get to the beach and we eat a bunch of mushrooms with the Krishna. We dose this fucking Jerry Garcia acid. We eat the San Francisco fucking disco biscuits.
Yeah, right.
And holy fucking shit, dude. Like, it was like someone fucking rang my bell. Like, I was just like, well, I think I'm going to meditate on the beach, and like felt like there was just a fucking light shooting out of me into the sky, you know, and like, I don't even know how long I meditated, but it was fucking magical. And then I got up and I'm like, well, it's time to go get in the ocean. And, swam around in the ocean for a while. I was body surfing. I think I might have mentioned this because I was like, well, I got to say something about Maui. But either way, we're telling the story now. I was body surfing on mushrooms and discovered that if I put... Because I would usually do the Superman. Like, I would get to this point where the water was shallow enough that I could push off the bottom to like catch the wave, but the waves where I was, because I forgot to mention this, it was a blue moon that January. We had record high surf, and so this is a beach that usually gets like maybe 3-foot rollers at its peak. We had 6-foot fucking waves.
Nice.
And so like I could catch 3-footers, no problem. Those were the babies, you know. And so like I just get to a place where I could plant my feet and like really push off. And then just fucking Superman these fucking waves, and they would just pick me up and carry me. It was like a fucking carnival ride.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Right, and so I figured out if I dropped...
that sounds awesome.
Fucking A. I figured out if I dropped one of my arms, I would turn in that direction. Like, that drag would turn my body, and I figured out I could shoot the barrel on these waves that way.
What?
It was insane. Like, I'd let the wave pick me up so that I was dropping down the face of it, and then I'd drop one of my arms into the water and then start shooting. Like, I would just kind of look both sides to figure out which side the barrel was going to happen on, and just try to shoot the barrel. It didn't happen every time, but there was a couple of times where I was, like, in, like, a 3 to fucking 6 foot barrel. Well, I never caught any 6-footers, let's be honest. But like, I was in a 3 to 4 foot barrel.
That's awesome.
And it was amazing. And like, I felt like I was just... I was on fire. I mean, like, I don't know. I felt like I was at the peak of my game. Yeah. And at one point, I look up on the beach, and there's all these fucking hippies, like, standing up, like, playing drums, like, waving their arms, like, dancing, chanting, and I'm just like, what in the fuck? And, like, I look up, and people are like, yeah, woo! Like, right when I, like, get up out of the surf, and I'm like, oh my god, have they been watching me this entire time?
Oh, shit.
Have I been putting on a show out here? And I'm like, fucking thank you. Yes. I have been having a great day
I've
out
been
here.
catching these waves.
I believe I literally took a bow and like
That's so funny.
waved, and I turn around to go back out into the ocean, and I see that there's a mother whale and her baby breaching in front of the sunset.
Oh shit.
Oh, well, that's clearly what they are cheering for.
That's the thing.
But for a minute, I was a fucking superstar body surfer.
Right? You're like, dude, I've been catching these waves.
Yeah, like for a good 30 seconds in my acid mind, I was like the hero of the beach. It's fucking amazing.
Dude, that is amazing.
Thank you. I'll be signing autographs later.
Yeah. The early show is different than the late show, folks. You can catch me after the sun goes down.
Oh, damn straight.
I'll be doing this for a while because I am high as fuck.
Absolutely. So we ended up camping on the beach that night, and oh wow, I almost missed like my favorite part of the story, which is after the sun goes down. Yeah, you know, Jessica and I get to talking about how we've always wanted to have sex on a sea cliff. And,
why not?
There happens to be a sea cliff right up on y'all. We are experiencing record high tide waves, and it's a full moon tonight.
Nice.
I can see no reason why we shouldn't get freaky as hell up there.
Just go make a hell of a silhouette.
Holy mother of God. And we did.
Upon that moonlight.
You know, without belaboring the obvious too much.
Yeah,
sure. It was really good.
Yeah,
we both got there at the same time, and yeah, I mean, having sex on a sea cliff while on psychedelics with waves smashing into it with a full moon overhead. Turns out it's pretty good.
Turns out. Yeah, no, that seems rad.
Yeah,
it seems rad for sure.
So
that's that's picturesque for sure.
I gotta say, like, really happy that we were both into that, because it turns out it was pretty great.
Yeah, see, made up for the Mile High Club after all.
Oh shit! we were mile high that night.
Yeah, right.
Even though we were at sea level. Yeah, so that was good.
See, I just imagine like a Disney movie, just like fucking the ants follow you up there, and they're just
Ants go marching one by one.
Yeah.
Hurrah!
Well, like more of like they're dancing around, like almost like the grotto scene,
Oh,
of,
yeah.
like Little Mermaid,
Yeah.
like you
Go
know.
on and kiss the girl.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, just like all the little
forming little like psychedelic dance formations.
Yeah.
You know? I love it.
Yeah, totally. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, we trained you for this moment.